It is currently 8:02 p.m. at the time of this recording, and 2XKO is about to go. I ain't gonna sugarcoat it. This is how we all feeling right now that's been playing this alpha. Oh my god, 2XKO is honestly one of the best fighting games already in its alpha state. Yes, Riot Games have outdone themselves and show when an industry has the ability to put on something amazing as a alpha, this is no competition. They're cooking in a lot of areas. 2XKO, aka formerly known as Project L, is Riot Games' upcoming 2v2 tag fighter. So I'm here today to review 2XKO in all its glory, in all its status, and all of its alpha. It's very fun, but it's very alpha. Shout out to Riot Games for giving me access to the alpha lab test. Also, if you're not following me on Twitter, you missed out because I gave away free codes for the alpha lab test so you could have played. I had 200 of them, baby. 200. First, let's talk about the presentation. 2XKO has solved one of the biggest issues many people have with fighting games, is not getting into matches fast enough. At one point, people complained about this with Dragon Ball FighterZ. Having a hub world was pretty and all cool in the beginning, but having to do all the extra stuff to get into matches can feel a little annoying. 2XKO on its start menu has this giant fight button, and you click the fight button and it gives you the option to go to a casual room where you can fight other players, a private room where you can play with your friends or other people you want to invite to it, and where tournaments were hosted the whole weekend, the training mode for you to just practice by yourself, and also the tutorial. It's a very bare bones tutorial. I think this is where the whole 2XKO is actually too hard statements came from. The tutorial, I actually played the 2XKO tutorial the day before it ended just to see how it was, and to be honest with you, the tutorial just teaches you basic mechanics and things of that nature. I think the tutorial is smart but bad in a lot of ways. And again, it's an alpha. The big giant tutorial that they usually have in games like Valorant or League of Legends will probably be there day one, or hopefully by the time we get to closed beta, closed alpha energy again. The tutorial also teaches you, if I'm not mistaken, from a post player's perspective. So for the people that don't know what they're doing at all, how to find anything, cool. This is going to be you to just get in and just get into some matches. And that's very important for a lot of people. New players that don't care about fighting games or learn how to play, they just want to hit buttons anyway. Teaching them the basic mechanics on how to save their teammate with dynamic save, or teaching them how to tag in different ways and form, or how to use the assist mechanic, I feel like it's very strong from a very beginner's perspective, because they just want to know how to do basic actions right now and not try to win Evo. The casual room, I'll be honest with you, and some people might think I'm glazing, is revolutionary. Let me explain. So yes, we do have the traditional hub worlds that Arxis has done since the earliest of 2015, maybe even earlier at this point. However, what makes the hub world here so unique and interesting is that it's revolutionized for modern play. You automatically get to see action when you turn the game on. You may not know of this series, but in Virtual Fighter, I really like when you turn the game on, you can instantly see matches. Watching somebody do something can help you want to just get involved and get active anyway. I've been seeing a giant screen of people already playing, and then being able to watch everybody is outstanding in its own right. The most beautiful thing about this hub world compared to other games is that you can get around really fast compared to other fighting games that do have hub worlds in them. It used to piss me off when some games had hub worlds, but you couldn't really run super fast. They'll be running like this, but it's like sped up a little bit. In 2XKO, you can jump and you can dash. And since in the casual room, there's different layered and different architecture, like different layers in the room, you can use the jump to dash to other areas to get around really quickly. The best thing about the casual room is that it feels like a pretty much online tournament experience to me. For once, I'm actually excited to just play and wait in random, especially in lobbies like that. If you queued up for a match, they'll tell you when the match is ready, and this beam of light comes down that's YOLO and it starts shooting now, and it's like, yo, you got like 30 seconds to get there. That shit is peak. I don't know, it just makes me like, all right, the match about to begin, I found somebody, and it alerts you, and it's loud, and it's very vibrant, and it tells you where to go. It's so good for a fighting game, especially if you don't know what's going on in a fighting game or how to find matches. Those lobbies are probably some of the best lobbies we've had in a fighting game right now. My big complaint about the casual lobbies, and this also goes for the private room, is that legitimately there was a bug in the beta that you couldn't do training with PS5 and PC players. Therefore, it completely just messes up training, and since I had it on both platforms, I got to switch as well. I'll talk about PC performance on my PC, which is why I'm very surprised. This might be one of the best Riot games I've played on my PC, maybe since I've tried League of Legends a couple times. My biggest complaint about the casual screens and the private room screens is that you can pop them out, but there is no full screen option as of right now. In this alpha state, it was very hard to run tournaments unless you had some plugin or some other way to do it, especially if you played in TNS. People have to screen share their gameplay just so it can be seen, and that's a very big thing that needs to be fixed. Essentially, that is also pretty well. If I have to nitpick even further here, I wish I could turn the emotes all the way off in 2XKO. If there was, I couldn't find it, but like I was watching the tournament and I commentated the tournament, I was like, yo, turn the emotes off, stop doing them. The emotes are not as annoying as some other games I've played in the past.
No, guys, oh no. Oh no. Bro, Cyber Connect 2, why would you put this in there?
One thing I will definitely say that I had a problem with the main menu particularly, sometimes navigating the menu on a leverless controller, aka a hitbox or any other type of those controllers, you lose your mind a little. One of the big issues with 2XKO is right now that a lot of the menus feel very flat. Again, it is an alpha where you hit certain buttons, nothing really gets reactive from it. This is very noticeable on the main menu screen when you first boot up 2XKO. The one place and then L1 and R1 take you somewhere else. Sometimes it can be very annoying to navigate, especially when you're adding somebody. But I think they will make a better user experience overall, similar to what Valorant has done and its upgrades over the years. Off rip, that is pretty peak for 2XKO. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think they really cooked in that department. Now, I want to talk about the characters of 2XKO. I've had 2 weeks with the game and I've tried almost every character, at least at an hour plus of playtime. If I made a tier list on like who was easiest to play to like hardest, I'll break this down while talking about the characters. Honestly, I feel like Darius was the easiest character to play. The most complained about character in the alpha, because I'm having bleed, was very egregious to the gameplay, and having a lot of moves that he had, it forced players to play a tag game very differently, where you had to use resources to deal with them. Darius was the character that I'm just not a big fan of. I just wasn't gonna play like that anyway, but he was very strong in this game as well altogether. I do think Darius is a very dope and fun time altogether in the game. I think they cooked with him as well. I think they also changed how his combos and stuff work, so that's a bonus for Darius. The next easiest character, I believe, is now we're going to talk about Illaoi. Illaoi is probably one of my favorite big body characters in this game. Now, newsflash, if you ever watch the channel, I'm never the one to pick a big body character, okay? That ain't me, you know, that I just don't like those character designs. They usually feel slow and sluggish. That's something you know about 2XKO. The big characters don't feel very slow, useless, or feel like grapplers. So they can be having some redeeming factors to even try them out at some point. Illaoi combos are very intermediate-like. You have to micro walk a lot of times to get some confirms off to get things going. Once you learn it, you got it. But I think Illaoi was also one of the second easiest characters to play outside of that, if I'm not mistaken. I forgot somebody. There's Braum. I think Braum is probably one of the easiest characters to play as well. I would have put him with Darius, but I just forgot. Okay, just keep it with the video flow. All right, one take, that's all I'm doing. Braum is one of those characters that pretty much feels pretty cool to hit people with. I feel like his impact of hits sound the best in this game, and that's more important in a fighting game, making sure you hit somebody and it felt rewarding, it felt fucking good. That's one thing I can say about Braum. He has those buttons that just make you want to just do some evil shit. You know how like little babies get curious and they just start knocking shit down or just doing something they're not supposed to be doing? That's what Braum makes you play like, okay? Braum is cool. I didn't like him when they revealed him, but I gotta give it to him. Braum was cooking. Next, I will give it to the character I think is honestly the middle ground character that it has so many different opinions on, which is Ahri. Ahri was my main character in 2XKO. I loved playing Ahri simply because she had an air dash, which is why I simply love playing tag fighting games in the first place. I just like aerial movement in my fighting games again, and that's why I'm just so excited about 2XKO already. She fits exactly what I love, and we need more characters like that in 2XKO, which I'll talk about later. Next is Yasuo. This is the character I probably had the least time with because I played with him since EVO 2023 in different various builds of the game. And to be honest with you, I didn't put too much time into him because I didn't want to learn the character and then lose it in 2 weeks. Literally, why I say he's probably one of the hardest intricate characters. You got to understand how normals work to be even successful with this character in a lot of scenarios. Number 2, he is a stance character. Stance characters can be very hard depending on if you don't understand what each one does, and learning when to do them can be very scary and tedious for you. So I understand. That's Yasuo. And then lastly, I think the hardest character to play in 2SKO is Echo. I'm not gonna lie to you, I really like Echo in this game. He is the most frustrating character and most fun character to play. Number 1, I struggle with his buttons. His normals felt very stubby to me, especially just the basic 5 light, 5L, whatever. It was very frustrating to me. But then once you get things going with him, it's so rewarding in the game. He has so many options, and his combo routes are very unique and cool just to watch all across the screen. I also like the reversal super, which is so cool. He fucking Yusuke at the end of... I ain't gonna go too deeper into it, but those are the characters. My big hot take with the character roster right now is that they only have 6 characters, and this is a big problem to me because I'm not a League of Legends fan, and I'm a character loyalist. Probably like, yaya, what the hell does that mean? Story time. So, usually when I play fighting games, I have a character that I really grasp to really hard. I would not play a fighting game simply if my character is not in it. As much as I do like what I have, I get mad. Mortal Kombat 1 is a prime example, and the biggest offender of this right now. It pisses me off, man. Why the hell is Sonya just a cameo? Okay? And then every time I play the game, I'm like, oh, new DLC character. This is fine. And I see Sonya as a cameo, because that's a character I've been playing since I was like 5, 6 years old. And then y'all get my point. And right now, I feel like 2SKO has so many big characters. This is very weird for like an alpha of a fighting game. Imagine if Street Fighter 6 launched with Zangief, Abigail, and T-Hawk, and then you had like Ryu, Ken, and Chun-Li, you know, like people be like, what the hell is this? So I did start feeling some fatigue with seeing the same characters over and over again already, even though the game is still fun and it's very alpha state. I just gotta say, please announce Jinx and Vibe. I know, just announce Jinx before the next test, please. She was thrown off already. Y'all already canceled Catalina for the meantime. I don't know when she coming. She was a character I was like, ooh, League. I might play League. Next is the gameplay. I want to talk about the gameplay because I am mixed on it, even though I think it's 8 out of 10. There's a lot of things as a tag fighting game fan, if you've been on this channel, you know the history of this channel, that just don't vibe with me. This is the hot take of the video. Please do not crucify me, y'all. Number 1, I absolutely dislike the fuse mechanic. Now, my big thing about the fuse mechanic is that I do like it to some extent, though. Hear your boy out. Fuses in 2XKO are very unique to the game because they give characters certain abilities and ways to play differently from each character and cast of characters. Each character in 2SKO is verbose enough to feel enlightened to play on its own to an extent. Some of the mechanics piss me off because other tag games had them without this type of fuse limitation on it. And this is why I say I'm indifferent on it, because the fuse mechanic is like indifferent for me because it's like it's for balancing, but then it also adds creativity. Then you have to learn how to use multiple fuses. I can see in competitive down the road, people learn how to play certain teams with legitimately different fuses rather than counter picking characters, if that makes sense. And I think that's beautiful and interesting. But like seeing freestyle or handshake, that was literally BlazBlue Cross tag battle. I'm not gonna lie to you. And DHCing being a fuse, which is doubled down, is very weird in a tag fighter to me. I feel like that shouldn't even be a fuse. If you play Marvel vs. Capcom, Dragon Ball Fighters, BB Tag, Power Rangers Battle for the Grid, I believe, Skullgirls, you can pretty much combo until you get done with your supers. If you want to cash out, you can crash out if you want to, man. And I honestly don't agree with the post fuse. I agree with the post fuse being there for like a control scheme, but making it a post is very frustrating simply because now you're sacrificing the other teammate too, having to play a specific way with just focusing on those auto combos. Post fuse doesn't get DHC, they don't get 2x assists, they don't get fury, they don't get nothing. They just get auto combos. And even if it's good for beginners, beginners gonna find out really quick, which they already have, and be like, damn, I'm used. So I honestly think y'all should make post fuse a control scheme thing you pick before you pick your fuses in a match. I also think the Fury fuse doesn't need to be a thing. Like, yeah, you do have last stand. They can nerf the last stand damage, especially in a lot of scenarios. Not to toot my own horn, I think I'm one of the few people so far that I've seen like a last stand combo into anything, and that was rare even in tournaments right now. So I feel like Fury should just be put on to the player when they're low health anyway. I don't get it's a fuse, but it's going to be crazier because they get the dash cancel in the future. There's so much to talk about with the fuses. I might make another video in depth more in the future about why I hate the fuse system in 2XKO. I want to say hate is a strong word, because even with the fuses, even in TNS when I played, I came to the realization that I thoroughly did enjoy what was going on and learn how to pick different fuses for different matchups and scenarios and how to take advantage of things, which was interesting altogether. But man, it's just like, just because I grew up with tag games that had that stuff basic in the mechanic, I ain't gonna say it's kind of like, it's in depth in weird areas. And it's just because I came from other tag fighting games, I'm like, next thing I don't like is I don't like how you bait burst in this game. 2XKO, you can bait burst by holding forward or just blocking it in a lot of scenarios, and if you do, they bounce off the wall in this glowy orb and the glass shatters and stuff like that. And I'm like, hey man, if I bait your burst, give me the free burst. I don't need you bouncing off the screen and having to, no, just pull a guilty gear, let them pop up in the air, let me combo the hoe. I'm not a big fan of that personally. It is unique for 2XKO, but I can't lie, it does annoy the hell out of me. Then to answer the question, are combos too long in 2XKO? I'll be real honest, I don't believe combos are too long in this game. I think combos are perfect in 2XKO. I think some characters have a lot of stagger on it, and a lot of animations need to be touched up a little bit to be way better. Honestly, I'm an Ari main, and I love her combos, and I don't want them to nerf the combos, because then she comes back, and then I don't like the character. I ain't gonna want to play nobody else right now, because I only really like Arcane and Ari. Ari is the one I just knew of because that's the first character I saw when League came out as I was getting older, you know. Oh, some of the defensive mechanics are very weird as hell. Number one, I personally do not agree with how push block works in the game, being those buttons and having to hit forward. There's a lot of stuff going on in this game, and sometimes inputs register very weird so far. Unless that gets fixed, you know, a lot of people have talked about it, especially when you block, you know, Brahm's counter or the little DP and then he goes to super and you get hit. Yeah, I gotta work on that too. Personally, I don't agree with push block being a whole bar in the game. Like, a whole bar to push block is crazy. You only get 3 bars a meter. If we have more bars a meter for more push block scenarios and combos at least, I think I'm fine with how much each super does. I just don't agree with how much each defensive mechanic does, especially a lot of them can be risked and very weird to get hit by. And also, it's very hard in this sandwich scenario in this game, especially when you try to push block, because the screen pauses very weird. Like, it pauses into a way to where it doesn't ease into it. It's like, and then you go back to the game. Personally, if it was up to me, I would make push block consume at least 50% of your gauge. I know they probably don't want people just throwing out push block all the time, but let me cook. If I'm scared, let me be scared till I go to 0 meter. I gotta go in at some point anyway. Other than that, from a gameplay perspective for this, looking at it as 2XKO and not what it's based around and where it's come from, I will say that this game is really solid and really strong right now. The foundation for 2XKO is honestly outstanding in the alphas when they have a better foundation and more time to finalize this first version of 2XKO. I forgot to talk about the netcode. Now, I'll be honest with you, I've had some laggy matches, especially in TNS in this game. Now, I haven't had too many laggy matches, but I've had some matches where a lot of times you could tell the difference between a desync and a damn rage quit. Hadouken? Let's go, he's cooked. No, it lagged. What's happening? No way, no way, no way, don't tell me. Do not tell me now it wants to lag out. I won that, bro. No, they both left. No, I'm not going. Somebody clip that. I made 2 people rage quit at the same time. GG's. Shake your boy hand. I'm sorry if I wasn't talking to you. I was too locked in. Okay? I was too locked. Regardless, the netcode is very flawless when I'm fighting people across all of the United States right now. I don't know if I played anybody from the EU personally, but if I did, it was very, very well for the most part from my experience. When the rollback is really bad though, it's like some of the worst rollback I've ever experienced in the game. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's like really bad. Like especially if people walking back and forth, that's how I look. I personally do not agree with supers being down inputs or down and then down plus a button. I honestly think Riot should has an option for players that want to just do the quarter circle. Just let them be quarter circle back 2 buttons or 1 button. Quarter circle back for the first one, quarter circle. Do that. I would personally enjoy that because sometimes doing down in a button feels just uncomfortable. I know Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite did and I didn't have a problem there, so it's not too much of a big deal, but especially on leverless, it feels very weird right now. So they wanted the motion inputs and already set on that vision, which I'm fine with. I just will say the only thing I hate about the directional inputs is doing supers a lot of the times. And that's the only thing that could be cleaned up. That being said, I just want to talk about 2XKO. This is going to be one of the biggest fighting games in the future. Probably contest one of the big 3. I can see 2XKO potentially being one of the biggest fighting games, not only in the FGC, but in the world, especially it being free to play. But it's your boy Avataryaya. If you guys enjoyed this long, lengthy ass 2XKO review of my full thoughts overview after 14 days of playing this game on and off, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. You guys already know, it's your boy Avataryaya. You guys are golden, and that is raw. You can go watch the last video on my thoughts of 2XKO being too hard or something like that. I'm out. Peace.